By the dawn's early light.
What?
Okay, sorry about that.
Listen, it's tough to do a podcast, okay?
Oh, I have to sit here and talk, and I have to push a button. Oh,
No. But it is my podcast. My podcast. It's my podcast. Hello, everyone. Uh, yeah, it's been a while. What's up? It's a single Justy podcast. Oops. I did kind of blink. I was supposed to have Halavin on here. And he even told me what times are like the perfect when he's off work and all that, but here I am, being a fool, not capturing the little boy, bringing on him on over to bibble babble on the podcast. Yeah, it's good spaghetti, you know. It's all good. We still got me. I'm epic. I'm cool, right? Hopefully. I don't like how, Discord was pretty cool when it started out, because it's like, oh, finally something that isn't Skype. It's something that isn't, hot garbage. Let me go take a look at that. It was really great at first, but now they're really slicing off the bits and pieces to make it where you have to pay for them, you know? Like, and that's fair enough. Like, they gotta make their money somehow, and what better way than doing that? But still, it sucks for us freebie types that don't want to pay nothing. Like, why does my accent color for my freaking talk box have to be brown? Brown! What, just because I have enough dark edges in my profile picture to show that I am a pumpkin? Oh, I don't know. But I guess it doesn't matter too much. Appearances are all what you make out of it, you know? At the end of the day, of course, a lot of people might call you ugly, but that's
up to you to value their opinion or not.
I think that's I don't know. Like, for me, it's always. I feel like I have a good kind of mind. Like, I feel fairly stable, especially after, like, a lot of things that have happened that I haven't really opened up about, which is never good. If you go through something bad in your life, or even just simple stuff, like if you feel slighted at all, you should open up about it and talk to either people who will be able to listen to you and give you good feedback, or just like directly with the person if you do have a problem with someone. If it's not with someone, then just speak out to somebody. But even with that, I offer a little bit of a um let me also add on to there that not everybody is available for that. There's a lot of people out there who I don't know. A lot of people are very self-centered, which I think is okay, but I think there's a lot of emotionally wrecked people out there that kind of they see someone who is their friend, right? Or someone who they hang out with a whole lot, and I hate to use this word because I think it's stupid, but they trauma dump on them, you know, because they're a friend, they're supposed to be there, right? Well, the thing is that the label doesn't entirely make that, true. Everyone is their own person, and to expect them to handle the weight of uh, the issues you have is quite selfish. It's especially something that could ruin that relationship, and then you might find yourself even further alone. You know, I think it's good to talk to someone who um can fully give you the support. And the thing is, it's not only just on the person who wants help, you know, like they shouldn't be able to just, have to look out for everything. If you're their friend, or say you're someone who wants to listen or something like that, and you like this is where you fall into the pit trap. This is where you mess up. But if you say something like, "Oh, yeah, you can talk to me anytime about anything. I'm always there for you." You have now, you know, contractually binded yourself to that. You know what I mean? So just be unaware, everyone, that don't make promises that you can't keep. It doesn't mean you're a bad friend. It just means that you know that's something that you're not prepared for. Maybe you have your own issues in life that you have to deal with. It doesn't make you any less of a good friend. Sometimes a good friend is just someone you can hang out with, not someone that you have to talk like, you know, all of your emotions into. And I think in both situations it can be quite difficult. If you're someone who is dealing with something, then obviously you want some kind of output, some kind of way to get all your ideas out, you know? And if the person seems like they don't want that anymore, then you're like, well, what the heck? You're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to help me, But then you have to consider the flip side of like, you know, if you're the person having to listen in, and generally at first you're like, oh, this is okay, this is nice, I can do this, I can talk to them, but you're going into like half an hour, and they're going into some very deep stuff, like maybe they are talking about their past traumatic events, you know, and you're like, oh, I'm dying of energy. Then it's very hard to get out of that situation without seeming, what is it? False or something like that. Seeming not genuine. There we go. Like, what are you gonna do? Be like, oh well, uh, my grandma fell down the stairs and I left something in the oven and my dog just got hit, so I gotta go do something. Bye. You know, that's the tricky part, which I think is why it should become more normalized to just be like, hey, listen, man, or woman, doesn't it doesn't matter. Let's be honest. Um, but just being able to be like, hey, I'm sorry you're having this issue right now, but I can't handle it. Um, but even then, that sounds like a jerk move to do sometimes. Like, imagine they're talking to you about their dying cat or something, and you're like, listen, I don't have time for this. Like, oh, what? I don't know. It's a very difficult situation to maneuver around or maneuver through. You know, it's always good to somewhat talk through a little bit. You know, definitely don't use someone as your personal journal. You know, I don't. I think that's the thing, is that it all. It's pretty much on their side. The person who wants someone to listen to them. It's up to them to set the pace and the balance and all that. They're the ones who are wanting to participate in this action and involve someone else into it as well. But I think you just have to make sure not to overwhelm that person, and they'll be more than happy to listen to you. Just don't lock them into like a few hours of talking about your issues and all that. you know I've had that happen before with quite a few people. They'll just go on a rant talking to me about their life or maybe the issues they have in it. And, I would say 90% of the time, I'm genuinely there. You know, I want to listen to these people's problems and see, you know, how to fix them. And I know that we'll go touch on that a little bit later, but um, I know that I have to be there and listen to them, and to show a good amount of support. Uh, I don't really know what has enabled me to be much more receptive to that kind of stuff, but you know, it's kind of how I feel. I don't know. That sounds kind of uppity, like
Yeah, I truly don't understand what I've done to develop such amazing skills.
but it's the only way I can really describe it. I feel very like gotta be cool, gotta be nice, gotta listen to people and their problems, baby. Uh, Sorry about that. I had a phone call. I wanted to go ahead and answer that. Um, what were we talking about? I think it was that. What was it? I don't know. I genuinely lost it right there. But let me try and retrace my steps. I've been having some issue with not like, oh, I'm losing my memory, but it's very much a, sometimes I forget stuff right after the second I say I'm gonna do something. um, let's see. Don't use people as baggage, being open about things. Um, I don't really know, to be honest. Um, well, I guess there goes that whole spiel. The bottom line is that I feel pretty receptive or open to other people's feelings. As a person who lived with their mom who developed depression and bipolar disorder and all that stuff. Um, you know, I kind of feel like that probably helped me out a lot more. You know, and listen, I don't want to. I don't want to be one of those types of people that's very sexist, but um, I do think that women are quite a bit more emotional, whereas men are very rugged and all that, very simplified. I say that as a man myself. I feel like I got the ape caveman brain sometimes. Sometimes I just want to ooga booga. um, but yeah, I would say living with my mother and having her develop those issues might have put me into a bit of a better position on being able to understand and listen to people. You know, I mean, I'll admit, I'm not perfect, not the best, like, what is it, counselor, you know, but I'm gonna at least listen to the best of my ability, especially if it's something you really want to talk about. I guess that's like another issue within itself is that, you know, for me personally, I don't know if anyone else has this kind of struggle in life, but sometimes you just can't really pick up on social cues, I don't, I don't know if that makes sense, but like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. It's hard to talk about because it is a genuine fear of mine, but um, autism. Autism is such a wild and new kind of thing out there. It's a little scary. It's intimidating a little bit. You kind of, at least for me, I kind of feel like one of those people back in like the 80s or something like that, where it's like, you have AIDS? Well, what is it? You scare me. It's someone who doesn't have an understanding of what they're supposedly fearful of. You know, it's just a lack of knowledge. It's not. actual like hatred or fear towards that. It's just the lack of knowledge and not being able to understand. I think if I um put myself more into learning about autistic people and symptoms, I might be more receptive to it, more able to discuss it and talk about it. But for like the current time, I don't know. It's just such a shocking and like I don't know, very very confusing thing to deal with. Like sorry, I had to cough there, but um generally with depression, anxiety, any other neurodivergent kind of issues, you're able to kind of see a line. You know what I mean? Like you see the defining line between the person and what they suffer from, you know? And I don't even know if you could say autistic people suffer from anything like that. I think that's the part that gets me the most, you know? If you have depression, it's not really something you're supposed to be experiencing on a daily basis, you know? It is a neurodivergent kind of thing to have. You are not supposed to be experiencing that. That is not regular, But with autistic people or autism in general, it seems more intertwined, interwoven within their own personality. So to say that that is not normal, it seems definitely like you're calling the person themselves not normal. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Might have to get a water because my throat's going. So I might have to take a moment to get some water. Um, you know what? I'll go ahead and do that just right now. I'll be right back. 1 second. Will I go? Okay. Didn't put on my head. But yeah, it's definitely something that's a little bit spooky in a sense, especially since what I've noticed is that it's kind of hard to differentiate between someone who has it and someone who just has like-minded. You see, again, are you supposed to call it symptoms? You know, is it just something that you have? You know, like what is it? What am I trying to think of? Am I even saying the right thing? Let me go. Let me go check real quick. I gotta go see if I'm saying the actual right term for it or if I'm being freaking a big offensive man. Is autism neurodivergent? Neurodivergent person refers to a person on the autism spectrum or more. Oh, so that's how it is. Okay. Or more generally, to someone whose brain processes information in a way that is not typical of most individuals. So again, like, what does that mean? You know, I don't know. Let me go take a look. They have some pretty little graphs here. Here, let me go ahead and show it on screen real quick. Where is it? There you go. Look, you got all these different graphs that show you all kinds of different things. Oh, rainbow infinity sign, my favorite Pokemon. This is the one that I've read before, which is the neurodivergent umbrella, which has all of these uh, symptoms underneath it. And it's like, okay, that doesn't really help me too much, Like, especially because it's again, you go back here, and I know this is Google, so you can't just be like, oh, well, Google will say this right off the bat, so that's what it means. Um, Neurodivergent person refers to a person on the autism spectrum. Okay, so let's go ahead and look up, you know, let me Oh, I think my thing just turned off the capture. Yeah, let me finish typing this. Autism spectrum. Okay, what happened on my thing? There we go. Okay. Overview: Autism spectrum disorder is a neurological um, and developmental disorder that affects how people interact with others, communicate, learn, and behave. Well, and then let's look at this pretty graph. Oh no. Like, again, and this is kind of what makes it hard to understand and grasp is that there seems to be really no concrete answer. You know, autism awareness versus acceptance means you know it exists, means you connect personally and learn more. Awareness, acceptance. Awareness means you can identify it. That means you talk to people and gain understanding, compassion, and sensitivity. Wow. Anyways, um, maybe that's an interesting thing is that the you know it's a very like you can identify it sometimes. You know, sometimes you can't though. Like there's some people who are what is it? Uh high functioning, I believe is what they're called. And it's I don't know, it's just so wild. You know, I personally don't feel like they did a good job categorizing it, you know. It's very good luck, enjoy the cowboy ride, you little ding dong, you know. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's very it's just I don't know. It's hard to understand it. No, I just don't like it. I don't like it because I can't easily understand it. And, you know, there seems to be no concrete answer, which I'm kind of fine with. You know what I mean? Like, I try to be, I think humans love to, well, first off, let me just say sorry and take that back. You know, I I personally hate people who are like, humans are such odd things, aren't they? It's like, dude, you're part of them. What do you mean humans? But what I use in place of that, I say people. um, sorry if my brain malfunctioned there for a moment. Anyways, people love to categorize things to make things simple. You know, it's easier to say, "Oh, you see that person over there? Uh, they're left leaning on the political graft." You know, and then you can just be like, "Oh, okay, so that's who they are," when they could just have like an absolute mix of opinions. You know, but maybe some of them are um, more left leaning and more loud, more extreme towards that whole thing. So I think, a lot of people try to categorize things that aren't really able to do that. And I think autism might be one of those. Like, maybe instead of seeing it as like a grid, I should instead see it as a swimming pool, you know? I feel like maybe that might help me understand it more. It if you're listening to this and you do have autism or have any experience with autistic people, maybe you can let me know, what's the big deal? Like you know, how do you identify truly who is autistic and who is not? It definitely seems like there's different levels to it, but it's not like a typical level thing, like it's not like, oh well, the first sign of autism is obsession with a particular item and or a theme. And then on level 2, not only do you get obsession, but then you get outburst. It's it's not like that at all. It's like a Build-A-Bear. Build my own autistic bear. Oh my goodness.
I get to pick and choose what I get.
Um, but no, that's not how it works. People don't get to pick and choose the way they act in life. It's just how they are, and I'm fine with it. I just wish I could understand it further. But I think the pool idea is very helpful. It's swimming around within a larger group rather than being able to be sliced down even further into particular things. Like there are certain interests and, obvious signs of it, but someone can't, you know, develop all of them the same way, the same way, the same way, the same way. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I definitely think that's probably where I don't know. I wouldn't call it fear. I would just call it confusion. You know, I will admit that it's very much a uh, you know, what is it? It's me having to just kind of stopping ignorant and learn about people like that or the autism itself. And I think a particular reason I forgot to mention. I think a particular reason why, for me personally, I find it uh, a little scary is that you know I think everyone kind of shows a little bit of a sign of being autistic. But like, and again, that's the thing is that you just can't really tell. Oh my gosh, I have a good example. So let me think in my brain real hard about um people who don't have autism having or showing signs that they might. Um, but okay, let me give you an example. I have multiple sclerosis, right? It has all kinds of different things that it can do to your body. It can make you more tired. It can make you feel pain more easily. You can generally, it's a sucky disease if you're not medicated. But luckily, I am. I feel generally pretty good at most of the time, but I do still have my moments. Um, but when I first was diagnosed with it, and it's what a lot of people do, and I don't blame them for it, but it is very, I don't know, it's a little funny, but like when I was first diagnosed with it, it sucked ass, but I was like, oh, whatever. And my family, both my extended family and my immediate family, they were like, oh, well, what's the symptoms all about? I'm like, okay, well, it's all about this, this and this and this, right? And then you know what they do, and I've noticed it for a lot of other people as well. They're like, oh, maybe I have it. It's like, you know, it's like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean you might have it? Just because I just listed off stuff? And I think that's a big issue with medicine or medical stuff. Maybe that's the issue in general is that um it's not specified, you know? And that's now let's roll on back to what I was going to talk about, which is people who don't have autism but show signs of it, you know? It's hard to be the one to kind of you can't ever really do a self-diagnosis when it comes to like medical mental or emotional things, you know what I mean? Like you can do it for physical. If your arm's broken, you can obviously tell it's fucking broken. It's like bent in two. And of course you could get some outside opinion on it, but they'll probably also tell you it's broken. I doubt anyone else would be like, no, it looks fine, bro. But the thing with emotional and mental stuff is that, and this is where it absolutely makes me scared, like very terrified. Um, you just don't ever know. You could be living your whole life, acting in a certain way, right? And maybe even that way drives people away from you, makes you hated or something like that, right? But to you, it's nothing. You don't notice anything really. You know, it's how you have lived your life. It's how you see the world, right? And you don't know about it. It's only by someone else being like, "Hey, you know what? You're being an asshole. You might have this, you might be this," right? It's only when someone does that is when you're able to maybe question, "Huh, is the reality I'm living truly the one?" You know? Is it the one that is truest to what I want to see? You know? I don't know. That sounds a whole lot like mumbo jumbo stuff. I know. Let me take a drink of water. But that's the thing is that you know, it's hard to diagnose someone with something unless you interact with them. And then even at that point, it's like, dude, what what is this? You know? Now oh no, it's a I'm trying to be concentrated. I'm trying to keep my ideas focused. So that way it's like a laser and it can cut in and maybe, you know, other people can learn about it. But it's just the idea that your reality, the way you see things can be very different from, another person's. It can, I don't think there is truly anymore a regular way of seeing the world. I think there's an average, but um, you know, it's just terrifying to think that something can alter your reality to where you won't even notice, you know? That is absolutely scary. And I don't know if it's because I need to be in control of everything that, you know, I have a part in, but it's like I don't know, it's very terrifying. Um and that's the thing with people who aren't autistic but they show signs of it is that um you know, there's people who are like, "Oh, like let me go see what the signs of autism are and then I'll compare and be like, well, let's consider this. Let's see. Signs of autism. There we go. So here we go. We got three main symptoms. Finding it hard to understand what others are thinking or feeling. It's like, what? What do you mean? So exactly how much to of a degree do you need to be able to understand like someone else in order to know that you don't have autism, you know? Because I've been in a situation before where it's like, um, I'm not, I'll admit I wasn't very active with trying to understand the people around me, the friends I had, and all that. I was, it was very much focused on the good times. So I think maybe they possibly thought I had autism because I wasn't more affectionate or something like that. But again, I don't think that's even for me. I don't think that's like autism. That's oh, man, I'm like getting all jumbled up because I have so much I want to talk about. Because think of it like this, right? So for me, um, I'm I'm a very kind of black and white kind of man, you know? Like I try and see the grays of everything, but I'm a very logistical, analytical, blah blah blahtical, blah, 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 you know. I'm a very, you know, this has to have logic to it kind of man, you know. If it doesn't have logic, if it doesn't fit within what we have an understanding of, then I don't understand. Yeah. It's not like it's not hard for me to grasp. Like if I put some effort into it, I can just kind of let go. You know, it doesn't have to be something, but it is how I am in life. You know, if I live my entire life like that, right, and say not a whole lot of people point it out, then that's just how life is for me. There's nothing weird about it. There's nothing odd about it. You know what I mean? So, if like I don't know, if you are affected by autism, how can you uh like tell the difference, I suppose? I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe I'm jumbling words together and it's not really putting anything together. Maybe let's go ahead and read the characteristics of autism spectrum disorder, shall we? Let's see. Social communication and interaction skills. Examples of social communication and social interaction characteristics related to ASD can include avoids or does not keep eye contact, right? And I'll use myself as the basis for this, just so I can be like, okay, well, let's go ahead and, compare it to what I do, right? Um, I feel like I'm a pretty shy guy in real life. I think it's also very rude to look into someone's eyes. Um, you know, I feel it's kind of like you're staring, and I, I never want to do that to someone. I mean, I don't mind looking someone in the eyes. It entirely feels rude. Feels like mean or something. Does not respond to the name by 9 months of age. I don't know anything about that. I probably have to ask my mom. Does not show facial uh expressions like happy, sad, angry, and is surprised by 9 months of age. Um, see, I don't know about that. I do have quite the stone face, so maybe that might be another. See, this is gonna be sad when like I'm like, let's go examine the autistic science, and then I'll just disprove it all. But then I slowly come to realize I show more signs of autism spectrum disorder. You know. Let's see. It does not play simple interactive games like Pat a Cake by 12 months of age. Don't know. Yeah, these are all like baby. You know, is this the baby section? Is this the baby section? Please. Maybe I have to look up signs of autism, symptoms of autism in adults. There we go. Signs of NHS, which I don't know what that means. Of adults and autism. Okay, here we go. Here's the actual thing because I'm an adult. I'm a big boy. Main signs of autism. Common signs of autism in adults include finding it hard to understand what others are thinking or feeling, right? Which I don't think I struggle with that. I might be a little stupid. I might be like, drawing something and you're like, oh, my cat dead. I'm like, oh, sorry. Okay. Getting very anxious about social situations. I would say I do have some amount of anxiety, but it's not really towards social situations. Um, Finding it hard to make friends or preferring to be on your own. You know. And again, you know, what is it? Is it a, you know, like, are we going to start saying that shyness is a sign of autism? You know what I mean? Let's see. Seeming blunt, rude, or not interested in others without meaning to. Oh, oh, I do that too. Finding it hard to say how you feel? Nope, absolutely not. I can tell you how I feel quite a bit. I have to be able to trust you. It's hard as a guy to come out and say any amount of emotional stuff to someone else because you feel like a burden almost, you know? I think I'll just add a little tidbit to it, but I do think that at least in the past that women were have a much more available reception to having their emotions and maybe their uh, way of thoughts opened and being able to talk about it, whereas men it's kind of a struggle because there's there's like it's a 50-50. There's both women and men on one side, and there's women and men on the other side, but there are men and women that will make fun of you for being open or trying to be open, you know and then there's some men and women who will encourage it, which I appreciate. Let's see what else we have. Taking things very literally. For example, you may not understand sarcasm or phrases like break a leg, you know. You see, I understand things like that, you know. I don't know if it means other things. Like I don't know. If someone's all like, "Yeah, well, I hate you." You know. I feel like I might be like, "What? What just happened?" Having the same routine every day and getting very anxious if it changes. Um, I don't know. And see, that's what I mean. Is that like having the same routine every day? What? Or maybe is it supposed to be you need the second part of this and getting very anxious if it changes? You know? Like imagine if someone has the same work ethic, you know, they get up, they go to work, they eat their lunch, they continue work, then they come home, take a shower, eat dinner, you know, relax, and they just repeat that most of the time, you know? Are they autistic? I would think not, but continue on. Other signs of autism. You may also have other signs like not understanding social rules, such as not talking over people. Nope, I've never had an issue with that. In fact, I've dealt with quite a few people that don't understand social rules, such as that. Avoiding eye contact. I feel like that's the same of not keeping it. Getting too close to other people or getting very upset if someone touches or gets too close to you. See, and now here's the thing, right? Is this like strangers or is it just regular stuff? Is it actual people that you're close with? I, you know, and that you see again, it's a little bit of a balance act, isn't it? Getting too close to other people or getting upset if someone gets too close to you. Like what's I don't know. Yeah. Having a very keen interest in certain subjects or activities. I've heard this one. This is like the most like present thing that I've came to understand about people with autism. But see, I don't know if that like is that a thing, you know? That can that just be a regular thing? Can you just have an obsession? Are those people who buy like every kind of thematic action figure? Like there's this one woman who bought a whole bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. Is she autistic? You know? Liking to plan things carefully before doing them. And that just I don't know. This whole thing just kind of it makes me feel weird on the inside. It makes me feel very like confused about things because I don't know. It's very like there's there's no specification, When I have multiple sclerosis, right? They will say, "Oh, well, you may lose feeling in the left side of your body. You may lose what is it? You may lose some ability to use your some of your body, like your eye, your tongue, all this other stuff, right? You may lose the sensation of taste, right? It all makes sense. You get like you get boom, that's it, baby. That's it right there. This it's like if you eat spaghetti at dinner time, but you don't put parmesan on it, you might have autism. You know, autism in women and men. Uh, let's see what this is all about. Autistic women may have learned to hide signs of autism to fit in by copying people who don't have autism, be quieter and hide their feelings, appear to cope better with social situations, show fewer signs of repetitive behaviors. Right? Where's the men's section? Autistic and women may. Yeah, what about the other section? Look. More and signs of autism. What's this? Oh, there's also a section for children, but look. Where the fuck is the other side of it? Look. Like, you see it says, oh wait, sorry. I forgot I don't have my keybinds for this. Anyways, you see, look. Main signs of autism, you know, in adults. In adults, you may also have these. And so, like, autism in women and men. Autistic women may bibble babble, bibble babble. Where's the man section? Huh? Huh? Where is it? Oh no. That's kind of silly. Anyways, I'm done with the autistic rant. I'm just kidding, of course. We're going right back to it. No, but um I guess that's the only thing really is it's hard to understand it. It seems general, like there's no real proper way to define it, you know? And is is that thing like is it just the swimming pool? Is it like you go in, maybe you don't come out or listen, I'm not going to complicate my whole swimming pool theory, thing any further, but it, is it that you may have some of those or do you have all of those? You know what I mean? And if some of those are actual autistic qualities, you know, who or what about the people who do show signs of those, but not a whole lot of them, you know? Again, it's so confusing. It's like maybe you might have it, I don't know. I think I don't know. I feel like cuz I'm a little man. I grew up, in the early 2000s and all that. I think maybe that is where I get a little bit of a negative connotation with autism because I think growing up, I can't remember exactly. I don't know if it was like all the time, but I'm pretty sure uh, autism was pretty looked down upon. Maybe not looked down upon. That's a very, you know, for real serial thing. It was more like people didn't understand it, so it was you were much more easily made fun of for it. They're gonna look up. Oh no, I can't remember, but I think that's definitely one of the like it's very general, so you can't really define it. And for me, that's a little bit difficult. Do you come in and out with like different symptoms? Are they truly autistic behaviors? No, I don't know. It's not even like I guess I should clarify, you know. I'm not trying to be like, well, it's us versus them. Or it's like, oh well, I need to look out I need to look out for little autistic people so that way I can easily identify them and make sure that they are subjugated to the worst. No, it's nothing like that. It's more of like I'm really just wanting to understand it, and understand how, I guess, like how it is. I'm trying to find the specific word for it. Not acquired, but how someone is diagnosed with it. There you go. Because autistic people can live pretty normal lives, from what I've heard. Um, the few autistic people that I have met, quite a few of them have been uh, quite quite bad, But I think a good majority of them have also been very very nice. They're they're just different, which a lot of people are. It's just you can kind of tell uh, with them. If you aren't friends with them, if you're like strangers, you can kind of tell they might be. But I again, say say you go into a Discord call. Say you the individual listening to this. Maybe you go to a few servers on Discord, right? And I don't know, you hop on a Discord call, right? And you're just like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with these people. You know, and say someone starts talking about something over and over and over again. You know, is it right to assume, well, that person might be autistic? You know what I mean? I guess you can't really assume anything until it's been verified by a doctor, but still. Oh no. I think it's time to move on to a different subject. Um, so I think I figured out something lately, and I think it might be the reason why I am very dull. You know, I believe I have what is it? Positive nihilism or optimistic nihilism. You know, it's very much you see the world as just kind of useless. Nothing really matters, but that's like a good thing. You can derive meaning out of it for yourself. And I think I may also be, what is it? An individualist. Let me go look that up. I want to make sure I'm using these all correctly. I don't want to be like, I don't want to be spreading bullshit, you know? I've been trying not to curse as well lately. Um, I've been trying. It hasn't really been going the best. I still find myself sometimes slipping up and being like, "Oh, what the earth? What the man? This is shit." Ooh, you know. Uh, right. Ooh. Sorry, my throat is all fucked up. My mouth is too. See, and I just said the F word. Sorry. Um, I took a nap before this, so and I think I sleep with my mouth open, so I get a very dry throat and dry mouth. You know. Um, Individualism, the habit or principle of being independent and self reliant. A social theory favoring freedom of action for individuals over collective or state control. Encouragement has been given to individualism, free enterprise, and pursuit of profit. See, I don't know if that entirely lines up with what I believe in, but. Sorry, I have to cough to get all this phlegm out of my throat. But it is something that I kind of feel like does line up a little bit. I don't know. I think I found the cause and reason. So if you've listened to any of the other episodes of Within the Flesh, which you should, you absolutely should. But if you've listened to the other ones, you may have come across that I don't like history, and it's not like actual history. Like, oh, I love. I personally like exciting bits of history, like the good parts and all that. But there's people who I don't know. It's hard to describe, because for me it's not normal, but then again for me I'm probably not normal. So I'll just describe it, and maybe the listener, you, can tell me if it's normal or not. But um, people who talk about their history, like I don't know, they'll just be like, "Oh, did you know that my granddad was an olive uh farmer?" I'm like, I don't care. Okay, I'm listen. Maybe I don't say it like that, you know, but I do say things like, you know, or like I don't say anything. I'm just like, oh, that's cool. But that's how I feel. I just really don't care. You know, and it's not even just them. I don't really care about my own history or anything like that. It's just like useless. Useless history. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's it. There's just some people that, they're like, oh, I'm a little bit of a Swahili. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I just don't care, man. I don't. I just really don't. Or like, maybe someone's like, oh yeah, someone in my family, they took part in inventing the Florberstorm. Like, I don't care. Like, that's one of the only things. Like, I don't know. When people talk about themselves, I'm entirely intrigued. I'm very, on point. I'm very like, oh, let me listen. Let me, what are you doing? What's this? What's this? I'm very interested to see what they make out of life itself. But when it comes to other people, I just don't really care. I don't think that's anything odd, though, either. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. I personally do not know the person you're talking about. I don't know that family member. Why would I find it interesting? You know? I feel like it's more of like a fun fact. And for me, it's just not that fun to learn about. It's just not that fun. Um, I'm very. You see, I don't think it's even me like practicing or wanting individualism. It's just me more interested in what the person that I know is doing rather than, the person's quote unquote past, you know? It should be called their family's past because that's how it is. It's not their past, it's their family's past. So it's I kind of view it as like I don't know, it's chains really. It's chains onto the person. It keeps them back. It keeps them from going forward. I don't know. That's just how I see it. It's like if I had someone in my life, in my family tree, right? And it's all like, oh, they invented the cheese wheel. For me, it's like, okay, that doesn't really have anything to do with me. And you see, I think that's where the nihilism part comes into play. Nihilists are they're very self-centered people, from what I've gathered. It's very self-centered. It's very like nothing matters but me. You know, or at least that's what I've seen. And I think I might be one of those. But it's not to that much of a point. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's hard to describe. I like kind of getting this out in the open though, but it's hard to like put into words. But I'm gonna try my best. Um, I just kind of don't see a lot of meaning outside of my own circle. I don't think that's something that's wrong. You know, I don't think a lot of people are like that. I think I don't know. It just seems so kind of fake to see some people that are like, "Oh, the wars are terrible. Oh, I feel so bad for those people." And yet they go on to the next day, sipping their coffees and watching Breaking Bad on the TV. It's like, you really feel that bad. Like, I think you can feel bad, but it's just the people that put in a whole lot of, oh yeah, it's just so tragic. Someone should do something. I think that's the number one thing that gets me is that you know you'll see people that I don't know. It's and I'm purely talking about like online activity. I know real life is a lot different, but I'm saying when it comes to online activity, it's just I don't know. I'm so just done with it because it's nothing but the same repeat of stuff. It's just like people are stupid. No, I'm not afraid to admit it. People are very much, well, we should do something. Oh, look at this tragedy. And no one does anything except the people that are actually doing it. You know, it's good to have an opinion on something, but don't echo it all the time unless you're gonna do something about it. Um, I think I lost the point here, but for me, it just I don't know why would you care so much about something outside of your own circle? It's good to be like, let me go help my neighbor out, let me go help them get a box into their place, I think that's good. But I know my neighbor, you know what I mean? I know them as somewhat, even the slightest amount, you know? But if like someone down the street, say they got mugged, it sucks, but I'm not personally affected by it. You know, maybe if I go outside and I get mugged, or if someone I know goes outside and gets mugged, I might feel something more about it. But generally, I just don't really feel anything about it. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's like, damn it, I've fallen into a trap already. I've fallen into a freaking trap. I literally just got done talking about how autistic people can't really understand or feel uh why people might feel a way, and it's like I just described me being like, oh, well, you know, I don't really care, lol, Oh no. No, come on. Listen. It's just it's it's not that, okay? I can understand it. I can understand it perfectly fine. I can understand the feelings. I just it everything doesn't really matter. We're all gonna become spaghetti soup one day. We're all gonna end up in a hole in the ground, blah blah blah. You know. Oh, see, and that's why I need Halavin, because I want to talk religion. I want to see what his perspective is on things, and maybe I can understand it. I can talk about it and be like, "Yo, what do you think of this? What do you think will happen when you are dead? What do you think will happen to your corpse?" Lol. You know, I think that would be a fantastic thing to talk about. Um, what else was I going to talk about? Oh no. I think I was going on to something. Like you can kind of understand that or you can see at least that I was very much intrigued by the idea of autism and what it means to people around them. Um but the whole nihilism thing, it's new for me, and I don't really it's not really like anything that I I accept, you know, fully, deeply in my heart. I'm not really connected to the ideology. I don't know even if I am a nihilist. And that's a whole nother thing that people who are like, oh well, I'm an empath. You get those kinds of people that They're very much, oh, well, I think I might have this, or I might be this, you know, even though they have no diagnosis of it. And I'm not even talking like a behavioral thing or anything like that. I'm just saying like, you know, they'll be greeted with a fancy term. It's kind of like, again, the MS story that I told that, when I was diagnosed, I described what I had, and people instantly were like, "Oh, maybe I have that." You know, I think people see uh, that kind of stuff online. Like I was searching up nihilism and like a positive nihilist because I'm like, what? I'm not one of those types that's like, nothing matters. Why even try? You know, I'm more of the type where nothing matters. I should try. It's my life. I should make of it what I will before I'm dead. You know, because nothing will be happening after that point. But I don't know if that truly is me. Is it just something? Is it just a hot new trend? Or is it, or is it something that's genuine? I do feel genuinely that the things that matter to me in life are things that I find interesting. Maybe it's not what other people find interesting or exactly something that they like. And I think that's just a regular human emotion. I don't think you have to be a nihilist to be like that. You know, but I don't know. I'm very I try and be very positive. You know, if nothing has value in it, then I would like to assign some value to it. Just because something is derived of value and you can't really see it, doesn't mean that I can't try and do something about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, I'm trying to find an example. I don't know, like the quality that I put on friendship, the value I put into it. You know, in the end, you can say you have friends, but they can easily just betray you. Maybe not even betray you. Maybe you're the jerk in the situation, right? But they can easily just leave you. They're not bound by anything except for a feeling, but nothing is stopping them from being like, well, bye. You know. So I think you get out what you put in. If you're not that good of a friend, then obviously people won't want to be around you, and therefore friendships will seem meaningless. I think that's how some nihilism is that everything is meaningless. But I think it's because those people don't want to put in actual effort to assign value to that. You know, and I don't know if it's a self-centered thing to say, but it's up to them. They are the only person in the world that matters to them. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of how I feel. Uh, a good motto for me is that you should always look out for number one, which is yourself. But if you're able to, uh, you know, spare some room on your way, you know, and have company like family, friends, pets, the relationships in life, as well as things you value, such as art, entertainment, uh, you know, or any other kind of hobby that you include. I think that's what truly matters. I think that's truly the human experience. Is to make sure that you yourself are taken care of, but to also you know if you have the ability to share that life with others. You know, I don't really want to sound like a hippie, but that's kind of how I see it. It's very much a become close to people that you wish to be close with. Don't be uh you don't have to try and be close to everyone. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that's anything that's different. Do people see that differently? You know, do people see life in a different light? I'm sure they do, of course, but I think that's a good way to live life. You know, you only get one trip on this earth, as they say, so you may as well spend it saying spaghetti. You know, it's what you take from it, not in a authoritative or conquering sense, but more of like, you know, is this something that you enjoy? Is this something that you don't enjoy? I think a lot of people have to do things that they don't enjoy, which is perfectly fine, That's just kind of how it is. But with the things that you can control in your life, are you also just are you taking in fully everything that you can? Are you allowing yourself to experience everything that you want in life? You know? And then the whole issue with that is that then you get like beliefs put into there. You get all these kind of restraints and stuff like that. You're like, oh, well, my granddad was an olive farmer, so now I have to be an olive kind of person. you know, I don't, I don't like restrictions. I think there are good restrictions in life. I think there's a lot of people that would benefit from, you know, if you eat ice cream every day, of course you're gonna hate ice cream eventually, you know. Or let me rephrase that. You're forced to eat ice cream every day, then eventually you will hate it. There is no pleasure without a little bit of pain. I think some restrictions in life do need to be there in order to fully enjoy life. But um, it really depends on the restrictions that you put in your life. I think people bound themselves by things that they can't fully get out of. You know what I mean? It's very much I don't know, very interesting. I'm sure that if I had someone else here, they would also combat that and say, well, I do this and you don't. I think it's fun, but you don't do that. So aren't you restricting your life in an odd way? And I would probably say, yeah, I am. Then I'd say, well, looks like I'm a hypocrite. Time to kill myself. but, you know, because the thing with me is that, what is it? I'm a toe teetotaler. I think that's what. Let me go take a look. Let me see if I got that correct. Toe teetotaler. Toe teetotaler. 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 There you go. The teetotaler. Teetotaler. Excuse me. What do you say to me? Yeah, you want to say that again? Freaking break your kneecaps. Pap. Um. Yeah. Teetotalism is the practice or promotion of total personal abstinence from the consumption of alcohol, specifically in alcoholic drinks. There you go. A person who practiced teetotalism is called a teetotaler or teetotaler, or is simply said to be teetotal. Yeah, great. Is a moment right there. Globally, almost half of adults do not drink alcohol. Oh, that's actually a very interesting fact. He's, for me, I see it so much online that it feels like that's how it is. You know, uh, Baba Booey. But yeah, that's something that I am, and a lot of people might be like, well, bro, oh, oh. you know, it's Well, I'm sure a lot of people would disagree. Be like, "Oh, if you're a teetotaler, bro, you suck. Stupid, lol." um, see, there's a there's a little fun comic here. Teetotaler memes. Uh, interpret drunkard shows a man who's all shabby and has like a bottle of wine in his pocket. What am I doing? I can just show you what I'm talking about. What am I? Autism kind of person? Jeez. Look, see? True temperance. Interpret it. Wait. Intemperate teetotaler. Crack something. Vinegar and water. So I guess it's very much a, you know, you should be an in between, my boy. I don't know. I think I don't know if I've said this before on the podcast. Um, I really don't like people who get drunk. They're they're annoying. I never realized it because my mom, she never drank when I was growing up. She still doesn't. You know? But now that I've come into my adult life, I've met other adults that get drunk, and they are the most annoying pieces of shit ever. Like, listen, I have to break my cursing rule just for that. Okay, they are annoying as hell, and I don't understand why anyone would drink if it makes them like that. Like, they just become so annoying and so, I don't know. s- I don't want to say horrible people, but it's a horrible time to be around them. You know, it's like babysitting, I suppose. You're just like, I want to strangle these people. I want to strangle these little children. You know, but it's very strange. I think it was Ben and Charlie that told me that drinking is very much where when you're the one who's drinking, you feel like you're on top of the world. You know, you think you're the funniest person and all that. Whereas if you're not the one who's drinking, it's a horrible time. Just bad. Um, no, that's cool, I guess. That's fun. Uh, I understand some people need it to be social, you know, but at that point, why not just develop those skills, or at least attempt to develop some amount of social skills. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's 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 okay, I guess. It's definitely not favorable, but I just I don't know. It seems like a lack of effort, which is perfectly fine. Some people just don't have the time to prove upon themselves. In fact, I think that people who, um, you know, people like me are pretty freaking gross in the world. It's really people who just overcomplicate things. Like I try my best to be simple, be like, baba booey, But there have been times where like, oh, is this truly the oh, let me think deeper on this, You think deeper and deeper on stuff, and then you're like, oh man, this is crazy. Um, it's not uh, good, I suppose. Let me see. Let me see something. Social. What is it? What was I trying to think? How to be social. There you go. Maybe something like this might drum up some stuff. Trying to see just a simple list, you know. People will like working with you. Improve your emotional intelligence. Put yourself in their shoes. You see, I do that like all the time. Look inwards. Pay attention to your emotions. See, I don't do that a whole lot. Practice effective communication skills. Use tactics like active listening and open body language to demonstrate attentiveness. Active listening, I got that down. Body language, probably not. I'd probably stand there like a brick wall, you know? Fake it till you make it. Try acting like you're more social peers. Even if it's just small talk, it will become easier every time you try it. Ask more than you speak. You don't have to worry about speaking up. Ask open ended questions and use active listening. Give compliments. Everyone likes a good compliment. Tell someone that they were great in that meeting, blah, blah, blah. Be polite. Say please and thank you. Use open body language and nonverbal communication. Face the person with whom you're speaking. Pay attention to your tone of your voice. Make eye contact. Use your body language. Show you're present and paying attention. I don't know. Don't let your thoughts get the best of you. Take a deep breath. If you feel anxious, start small. Blah blah blah. I think I got most of that down. Oh yeah, I was gonna discuss that. The whole fake it till you make it, absolutely disgusting. Oh, absolutely gross. I I deeply don't like that in society. There's maybe that's why like I'm not really the best person because there's a lot of, good luck spaghetti man, you know, with trying to talk with people and trying to be uh, fake towards them. I just find it so, I don't know, disgusting. You know, I try and be honest and truthful, you know, and maybe I guess I'm a little blunt sometimes, and I've been practicing on that to be less blunt and to, you know, be more, be much more open to discussion. Now, I don't even know where my bluntness comes in. I think it's just like, I straight up tell people what's up, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe I don't do it in the correct way. There's a good way of doing it. To just be like, you know, try and lay it on a little easy, but to just be straight up with someone. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, it's, I don't know. Faking it till you make it is just such a awful thing. Me, personally, it's like, why wouldn't you show your true emotions? Why wouldn't you show what you really think? Why would you? I guess it makes sense with strangers. If someone is talking to you, you don't say, "You're boring. I don't like what I'm hearing. Goodbye. I think you're ugly. Goodbye." You know, but especially if you're speaking with someone that you're interpersonal with, um, why wouldn't you want to speak up with genuine thought about some things, you know? And I'm not talking like uh they start talking about a game that you don't really care for and you're like, "I don't care about this. Goodbye." You know? I'm talking about like say they do something that you don't like or you know, say you do something. Wait, did I just repeat myself? Say you do something that they don't like, right? And they don't talk to you about it. How are you ever supposed to improve upon that? How are you how are you supposed to understand that's something they did not enjoy unless they tell you? You know, I I think I don't know. It's very tough, I suppose. I'm still trying to learn a whole lot about life. I'm not really I'm not fresh out of the freaking womb, but I'm still learning about stuff in life, and I think that's really great. I think continual progression, fantastic. I'll have to talk about that next time if I don't have anyone, or maybe even if I do have someone, I'll ask them about it. But um, maybe we can also discuss a personal journey, like a progress. You know, we can talk about that, like how some people will neglect progressing their own um capabilities and such. Like, what is it? Like improving upon yourself, which I know I've already kind of touched on a little bit, being like, well, some people don't have the time and effort to do that, but I really love to talk about that. Maybe I'll have to actually do one of these when I'm not just woken up from a nap, because I feel like this kind of got sloppy towards the end. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think this will probably be one of the worst, just the individual podcast, but that's okay because uh, it's always improving, it's always moving. You know, I think that's good. Good to listen to uh, yourself sometimes and just realize how you can be a little bit better and maybe have a greater time and all that. But yeah, um, I guess about the hour and 30 mark, so we can wrap it up a little bit. So now we gotta think how to wrap this up. In the end, autism is still very tricky for me to understand. I don't know if I do have autism. I truly feel like I don't. Um, but then again, I don't know if that's just me internally hoping that I don't, due to the what is it? The negative reactions, or not reactions. What is it? The negative. Maybe it is reactions that autistic people have with people. Like I've heard from plenty of people, like a lot, even some people who are autistic themselves, that they don't like autistic people. You know, which I think is pretty sad. Um, especially if it's something that is connected to their personality. You know, it's kind of like if someone was a vegetarian. Someone's like, yeah, I don't like talking to that person because they're vegetarian. But imagine if that person didn't have a choice in becoming a vegetarian. You know, they were just born that way. Um, it makes me feel sad for situations like that. You know, and maybe I don't want to be a vegetarian myself. I think that's a okay desire to have. Um, what else did we talk about? We talked about individualism and nihilism. I don't know how to cover that whole section. I think that's where the podcast just kind of went downhill. Maybe that and the fact that my throat is now dying. Listen to it. Listen to how I sound. See, that's what happens when you have phlegm in your throat. But yeah, the nihilistic section. I don't know what I was doing in that whole section. Like I genuinely, I genuinely don't remember what I was talking about. Like it was something like, "Oh, life is devoid of meaning, therefore, it is good to give it meaning." Maybe I'll put that. You see, you think I'm doing a recap just to be like, "Oh, well, let's think about what we talked today." Uh, my little patient, my little patient, my little patient, uh, my little kitten patient Discord. My little Discord patient kitten, where I talk to you about the troubles of life, maybe, and talk further on your ideas and how you feel about them. Or um, no, but uh, I am somewhat doing this just so I can remember, exactly what I talked about, so I can put it uh in the title of the podcast. So it'll be um autism and what is it? Damn it! I just had it as well. It's not just nihilism. It's oh, there we go. Uh, the value of oh man, that's gonna sound bad if I put that together. I was gonna be like autism and the value of life. How much would you wager an autistic soul against your own? Tell me, please. I must sell my soul. Lol. Oh, I'll come up with something else. Giving meaning to life. Autism and giving meaning to life. There we go. Beautiful, baby. Beautiful. Or questioning autism. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Gotta make it sound interesting. But um yeah, I think that'll be good. I think that's it. That's a good podcast. Um yeah, I think that's nice. I'm going to be trying to cook some chicken wings. They're the full type, right? And I've never cooked them. They're raw, fully raw. So, uh, if I don't succeed in making them, and I get salmonella and I die, just know that it's been a great time. Glad I could have been here to kind of enjoy all this time, you know. But yeah, I'm sure I'll survive. Next time, though, if I am doing a lone podcast, and if I remember, I'd love to talk about one's journey through life and whether people should continuously improve or if there is a certain ceiling to it, you know? Is there a point where you cannot improve further upon something? For me, I think there is a ceiling point, but a lot of people are nowhere near it. I think they're very much near the ground floor. But yeah, that'll have to be for next time. Maybe comment in the section below and say, "Oh, I'd love to hear about that," or comment something else. I'd love to talk about a subject that maybe a listener might want to hear about. Let me go and talk more about what you want, but with my own voice. I love the sound of my own voice. Oh, no, but yeah. Thanks for watching Within the Flesh. Um, I think it's been great. I think it's been fantastic. I hope that everyone had a good time listening to this. I'm sure at some points I bibble babbled a little too much, maybe went off a little topic, but I hope generally it was pretty good. I hope everyone will be able to watch the next one, and most importantly, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And when you're out there, just keep your chin up and think about all the value that you put into life and exactly what you want out of life. You know, it's your life. You should be able to do with it as you wish. But all right, I love you all.